What's good, man? It's your boy Cash. We in the building. Cash Money Dream Podcast. I got special guests in the building, man. I don't even have to say much. Just know this man is a talented, a trainer, athlete, a father, a hard worker, a man that puts in that energy, a high value man. And we sit here, we get on this podcast, we talk about certain value of men and people who put the work in. This man has put the work in. A championship winner, Super Bowl winner. It's my boy, man. Welcome to the Cash Money Dream Podcast, man. I know we've been trying to do this for a minute. I'm glad you came down and sat down with me. What's good, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. First, I want to say much appreciation for having me on your show.
Most
I do support you on all platforms just because you're my guy. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I like to support Black-owned businesses and everything.
Thank you.
I'm here to, get the information out to those who need it. I'm just happy to be here. But I just want to correctly introduce myself, if you don't mind.
Yeah, do it, man. I want. That's why I didn't say anything for myself. I want you to tell the audience who you are, what represents you, what you got going on right now, and then we get into some questions. But go ahead, brother.
Correct. So I'm former 6-year NFL vet, Zach Moore. Now transitioned to a licensed personal trainer, online personal trainer, nutritionist. I'm from Southside Chicago. Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl 49 champion with the New England Patriots. 3-time collegiate All-American.
Nice.
Actor and training as of right now. So, that's what I'm about. I'm about pushing peace, positivity, prosperity, progression, all of that stuff, especially for men.
And being from Chicago, man, we both from Chicago.
Yes,
coming out of that. You know what I mean? Was that different for you? Because you the transition, being from Chicago, was it a little bit different before we get into football? Like, how was Chicago you growing up? How was that?
It was very much different than it is now. These dudes now, they gang bang with no instructions, no leadership. It
was rules back then.
Yeah, they got switches now and everything. But back when I was growing up, this is the pre-internet era. So we was outside playing. It was like a normal childhood.
Yeah.
So
playing on milk crates.
Yeah, like busting fire hydrants open, putting tires around them so the water shoot in the air. So
yeah.
That's what we did. I have fun with my friends, and I'm still tight with the people I grew up with to this day.
What part of Chicago where you grew up at? What part?
So to get the origin, I was born on East Side in Jackson Park Hospital. That's on 75th and Stony Island. I live on 67th and Murrow. And then I moved to the low end, what we call the low end, 37th and Vernon, Bronzeville area. And that's where I grew up. That's where I'm from, the low end. So I'm from the low end of Chicago.
How far is it from the Wild Hundreds?
Man, it's way far. I live on 37th, so the hundreds is like
so
super far.
I grew up on the hundreds, and we sitting down with Ramin. What's good, Ramin?
Doing great.
He's from Chicago also.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
What part you from?
So I was born in in Evanston.
Nice.
And I was
rich people.
Man, I don't know. I probably moved out of there when I was like 5 or 6. I don't even remember.
Okay.
Just outside, about 25, 30 minutes outside in the suburbs.
Nice.
Like Hoffman Estates, Schaumburg area.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
right by the big mall.
Yeah.
Growing up, though.
Yeah.
Jordan. We have to.
But you know what? I never really seen Jordan play because the height of his career, I was still a young kid.
You're still young. I forget you're a little younger than me.
Yeah, so I didn't really. I knew about Michael Jordan, but I never watched him play.
So
I did support the Bulls.
So let's just say this: your era's probably like going into watching basketball was probably Iverson or Kobe.
Yeah, early 2000s.
Right, Kobe or Iverson.
Yeah,
one of my top 10 favorite players.
Yeah.
I mean, let me ask you this question.
Yep.
I mean, it's before we get in football. LeBron or Jordan?
See,
because you're younger.
Like,
I have a right to ask you this because you're so younger. So, it's a great question because you're a professional athlete, a Super Bowl winner. I think you on this platform because you're a competitor.
Yeah.
You had to compete. So as a football player, but as an athlete, seeing Jordan, what he's accomplished, we can give Jordan everything. I think he's the GOAT. But all around, I have this argument with my guy all the time.
Yeah,
for you though, who you would pick, LeBron or Jordan?
So to answer your question, in my opinion, I will pick Jordan.
Okay.
And the reason being, so I want to preface this by I didn't really watch basketball growing up, so I'm not really a basketball fan, more a football fan.
Okay.
But as far as like talent and what they was able to bring to the game of basketball, I gotta go with Jordan. He was just a dog, and then you see instances where LeBron, he went to super teams, and all these arguments and stuff. But I think, in my opinion, it's like comparing apples and oranges. Like, you're getting two great Hall of Fame players that you can't really compare what they've done.
Right.
Is
Jordan actually said that when they asked him the question like a decade ago. It was a press conference for something. I think it was when he was owner of the Hornets, and they asked him, that same question. He said, "Well, it's probably better because it gets confusing when you're comparing players. I think it's better to compare eras, because
exactly.
It's a totally different era. So now, if you want to go and figure out which era was best, you could do that, and then that might help you narrow it down.
This is the era of money, though.
The eras is different. The game is totally different.
So my only issue with this is, and I would get hit because athletes will look at you as like, you don't know what you're talking about. And I agree, as far as like, I'm not a professional athlete like you are. I'm not a professional basketball player. But to see a player go out, and I'm not knocking it, right? You all got to get your money. But as an athlete, I think in the 80s, 70s, or even the early 90s, athletes had to work for their checks.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? They had to work for their checks. Scottie Pippen, I think one of the reasons why Scottie Pippen's so mad today in his life is because how many L's did he take in taking less money when Jordan was getting everything, right? And he signed a bad contract, and it talks about it in the Last Dance, and he was warned that they don't think he should do it, and he did it anyway because he wanted the guaranteed.
Yeah, but now he had a family to feed. Like, he had to take that money.
So when the contract's in front of you and you see the big numbers, even though like a Mahomes deal, I look at Mahomes right now like, bro, these contracts in the next 3 years, these quarterbacks about to get, maybe you took an L from this contract, maybe. What do you feel?
So here's the thing, in Scottie Pippen's case, like, it's hard when you've never come from money and, a label or maybe like a team puts this amount of money that you've never seen before, that your name attached to it in front of you, even though it's probably lowballing you in your eyes. So I'll take me, for example. When I got drafted to the Patriots, 6th round, I'm coming out of college. I wasn't making no money. Like, I worked like 3 jobs to support my kid and stuff. Like, I've never seen like hundreds of thousands of dollars. So when I got my signing bonus, which was like $108,000, it was like the most money I've ever seen with my name printed on it. Now, in retrospect, should players like that deserve more? Absolutely, for the amount of work and we put in and the amount of danger we go up against, like sacrificing our bodies. But it's hard to tell that person, don't sign this. It's not a good deal. There's not enough money when they've never seen that much. So that's when you got to exercise caution and really understand, like, okay, you may take this a little bit now, but you're going to work to get more.
Does it deal more with also having a good agent?
Yeah,
and getting that good information?
So a lot of agents, they are plugged with GMs and teams, and they can negotiate more. So who you have representing you does matter. It matters a lot, because what I've learned, I say in the 6 years I've been professional, the one thing I've learned is not about what you know, it's who you know, and who your team, your team knows, from, your agent to marketing. All of that matters, because that opens up more opportunities for you. Like, if you have an agent who don't really have connections that well, then you're probably gonna sign like minimums.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. So I guess it comes down to making the right choices, especially when that money comes in, because Scottie took that deal, but then he didn't get as much as he thought he could get. He could have got more, 3-4 times more, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
you gotta take what you can get right now and just prove it. You gotta look at it as a prove it deal. Because if you are who you say you are, athletic wise, and you that guy, you're gonna earn more.
Right.
So I think that comes down to him knowing, like, okay, I can sign this, but I know I'm gonna earn more because I know what I bring to the table. I'm gonna prove it.
Right. But with you, let me ask you this question. Like and subscribe, everybody, real quick. Like, subscribe, follow us on every platform. We here. We ain't going nowhere. This is Cash Money Dream Podcast. I got my boy in the building. Let me ask you this question. How did you first get into playing football?
So I didn't watch sports growing up. I think I told you with the basketball thing. I was more into around 6 or 7 8 years old, I was more into WWF wrestling. Like I wanted to be a wrestler. That's what I was watching at the time.
So you was watching The Rock?
Stone Cold, Rock, Undertaker, all of that stuff. So
I used to watch that too. It was more popular back
Attitude
then. I think it was
Era,
better
hell yeah.
back then. The
Absolutely.
80s and 90s and
so
I wasn't into it. All my brothers were. I was just like, yo, I'm good.
yeah, so come 6th, 7th grade, the gym coach or the basketball coach in my elementary school, he kind of made me play basketball because I was taller. I was head and shoulders taller than everybody in my grade and age.
I mean, you tall as hell.
Yeah, so that's kind of, and I'm the type of person, I don't like for people to make me do stuff. I like to grow a liking to it.
Right.
So by him making me do it, I kind of grew a resentment towards basketball. Now, fast forward, this is 8th grade going into high school. I went to Simeon Career Academy, home of Derrick Rose, Benji, Jabari Parker, all those guys.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to do something different in high school. It's a whole different league than elementary school. And I said to myself, well, there's really only two, I ain't gonna say only two options, but in the South Side of Chicago, especially with young men, they either game bang or play ball.
Real talk.
So I'm like, I don't want to go to game bang. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
and I did run track. So in the off season of football, I would run track to stay in shape. So when I got to Simeon, I'm like, okay, I want to do something different. I want to participate in extracurricular activities, and that's when I got involved with football at 15.
15.
Yep. So I was a late bloomer. Yep.
Late bloomer. You know what's funny about that? Shaq was a late bloomer. He talks about picking up basketball, I think, around the age you did. So,
and I'm kind of grateful I did because I didn't burn myself out with the sport, and I limited the amount of injuries I can sustain. Because like I said, off air, guys played, when they was 6, 7, 8 years old. And
how long was the transition though, from 15 getting into football compared to going professionally? How long did it take?
Man, it was so to go professional. I went, through high school and college. That was a total of 9 years. But starting out playing football, I didn't know how to play the game of football. I never played before.
Right.
So I didn't know how to catch. I didn't know how to, tackle. None of this stuff. And so I had to really learn and take the coaching from my coaches at Simeon. And I was at first a wide receiver. That's my first position ever in football.
Wide receiver?
Wide receiver. And that's because, coming into high school, I'm like 6'3", 6'4", freshman.
Too, right?
Yeah.
Real skinny.
Tall, lanky dude.
Yeah.
But like I said, I didn't know how to catch. So that really hindered my, receiving ability.
They pulled you off quick.
Yeah, then they tried to move me to tight end, still couldn't catch.
So they tried almost all the positions.
Yeah. And
not quarterback?
No, hell no. I don't want to do quarterback. So
okay.
Before I moved to defensive line, I was an offensive tackle.
Right.
So I was able to do that really well. And then, in high school, most guys got to play both ways. There's not that many guys especially in Southside Chicago, not that many guys are playing football. So, I'll just kind of transition from O-line to D-line. And, going into college, I played defensive line my entire collegiate career. So, that's why I made my bread and butter at.
So you got in your niche in what position?
Defensive end.
And you fell in love with it?
Yeah, absolutely. Tackling, see ball, get ball. It's like a lion chasing a gazelle.
When let's say this, high school, how many what would we call it? Hitting the quarterback, what's the positions? How many safeties, sacks? How many did you get a lot? Because in high school, that's when you're showing off your record, right? You showing how good you are. Because college picks you up, then the NFL eventually.
I gotta be honest, my varsity years, junior and senior year, I primarily played offensive tackle. Then I played defensive line first.
Right.
So when I was coming out of college, I was actually scouted to be an offensive tackle.
Right.
But the problem is that I'm tall and skinny. I couldn't gain the weight. So going into college, I transitioned more into playing defensive line because you got to be a big boy to play offensive line.
Right.
So I came into college at around 245 playing defensive end. It was just, lights out from there. I didn't have to play offensive line because, it's college now. We got enough people to play both sides.
Was college a good experience? Because I know this is tough, especially for black athletes. Bro, I have talked to, I tell people right now on the podcast, Cash Money Dream Podcast, we known each other for a while, man. We was in the street.
Yeah, man, we've been out a lot of times. That'd be dope though. Like,
bro,
it was always a good time when I see you out, man. It was
Yeah.
like, okay, that's my guy. You actually, for people that don't know out there, this man got me drinking Moscow Mules. Like back when I was drinking.
Oh yeah.
Ever since he introduced me to him, that's just all I get now.
Yeah. Moscow Mules,
that's a real cool drink.
I was
right
overseas.
there.
I actually just tried that drink. I came back and I was like, actually,
Make it different.
Makes a big difference. Well, it's the same drink, but when I came here, they didn't make it. So I used to complain to the owners in Scottsdale like they need to have it. It's funny now everybody got it.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
yeah, you see that thing on flyers now.
They got all different type of mules now.
Right.
Oh yeah, too many. I like the same one I always get. Man, they got too many different styles. But but we used to run into each other. We would go out and have fun, man. And this dude was a stand-up guy, always a good father, always going out having a good time. Never had any bad. Man, I walk in and I even expect, and I see him. He always show love.
Yeah, man.
Get into the table, we have a good time.
That's what it's all about, especially as black men. Like that's why I kind of monitor places I go with black people because a lot of guys, like, for the people that don't know, like, I'm a big dude, so I take up a lot of space in the room. Like, I'm 6'6", 275, muscular, all that good stuff. So, when I walk into certain places, it can get real uncomfortable. So, especially with other dudes, they may have insecurities. They may look at me as a threat or who is this dude? It's like, nah, I ain't coming for all that.
I mean, it's always luck because I ain't insecure in my position.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a go get it.
And that's why I've grown to realize, like, I can only hang around dudes who are confident and secure.
Bro, thank you. Cash Money Dream Podcast, man. We here.
Yeah, you feel like you're walking on eggshells otherwise.
Bro,
it's like awkward.
We talk about the simp culture, right? And it just gets into it because a lot of guys don't have the confidence, and our podcast get into where guys have to be more confident and have standards and position themselves for them to get what they want, especially the traditional wife they want.
Right.
You have to be in that position. But not to get off topic, college.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you was asking about the college transition, or the college experience.
Let me ask you this question: college, the eating for athletes. I heard it's tough for. They don't get what they need to get towards the nutrition.
I would say
the money.
If you're Division I, you get all that. I went to Division II, Concordia, St. Paul, and St. Paul.
What was
Minnesota.
Reggie Bush?
He was D1. He went to USC.
So
that's like top of the line.
The biggest
but he was
schools
complaining about USC as when he was starving.
You gotta think, like, Reggie Bush, he probably got a whole different level of care that he's used to, and like he's a star player. Like he
was a star, but here's a star player saying that he was not getting what everybody said he was getting, and then when he went into the NFL and got, because I watched a YouTube on him and he was talking about his biggest regrets. And he was just talking about, the Heisman and what they took from him, and he didn't do anything wrong, and he was going into detail. He's saying football is no different than is like an election, or it's like politicians. Football is also built into where you guys have to follow certain rules. You got to have great relationships with right people, right parties. You gotta. I mean, it's like you gotta be well connected and known. It don't matter how good you are, but if you got the right agent, if you got the right person behind you who knows the owner, you got the right. I mean, it can even come down to a executive, right, or somebody who runs real estate, or somebody who's into a market of political. All these guys sit at different seats when it comes to athletes, and he was just talking about in college how hard it was for him to do the transition. Yes, he was a great football player, but it's a lot behind the scenes. That's why I'm asking you, what's the difficult parts when you in football, going to college in your freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year before you get drafted? What is the setup like? What is the craziness behind the scenes? Are black athletes really struggling to because not everybody gets that seat to get to the NFL or the NBA or any professional sport?
Yeah, so like I said, I went to Concordia St. Paul, which is a private white institution, and I went to Division II, so I didn't have all the resources that D1 players had. They have a lot more than, what I was accustomed to or what I've seen and experienced. So that whole transition was just, it was, I wouldn't say it was easy, but it wasn't as hard because I've already came for nothing. So anything that I'm experiencing at this level, collegiate, like, it's all a plus to me in my eyes. Like, I'm coming from, Southside Chicago, the hood, the ghetto, whatever. So,
I think if you can come from there, you can do anything, bro. If you can come from Chicago.
Basically, it depends where you come from on how you're going to either complain or be okay with what you experience.
And I don't know how Reggie grew up exactly, but it's different for everyone. I would think if I went to USC, I would have it made. Like, that's just so much exposure, so much, like, they have scholarships that they can give. D2, especially my college, we didn't have scholarships, so you had to get like a full ride in other ways.
So the grind for you is harder.
Yes, absolutely.
You feel me? So that's what I'm trying to get to. So for you have to grind. Is it 10 times harder? Is it 100 times harder?
Division I game, they get televised. I never played on a TV game, so I had to really, and this is before like really IG and social media really blew up.
Right.
So they were like, I don't have a page where I could just upload my highlights and the world can see it. I have to like really do the work behind the scenes. So I really got to put it on tape, as we say in the sports world.
Was training like crazy too in college?
Hell yeah.
Was it difficult every day to get up? What time did you have to get up in the morning?
Well, during school, that all depends on when your first class starts. So I'm an early bird, so my first class starts at like 7:30. And then maybe you'll have depends on how your structure is. You want to be done by like maybe like 2:30, just because practice is around like 3:34.
Crazy.
And then you're going to practice from like 4 to 7. And then you got, on top of doing schoolwork, and I'm working 2-3 jobs. I got a kid at the time.
You was doing 2 and 3 jobs?
Yeah. I'm
Damn,
a 19-year-old dad at the time. So I'm like, it was like clockwork for me. So I had to
You
be on my shit.
You had to get it.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Having a daughter, like that really advanced me in a lot of ways.
What would you say was your best college year?
My junior year, no doubt. That's when I really got on the NFL's map. So I'm a 3-year All-American, and that year, my junior year, I had 14 and a half sacks. So that's when I was on the NFL's radar instantly. And then all my senior year, I've met with every single representative of all 32 teams.
So do you get drafted junior year or senior year?
So I stayed all my years in college, because
Okay.
Division II you kind of have to, just because the knock on me was always, he played against low level competition.
Okay.
I'm dominating everybody.
Right.
So that was always a knock. So I had to stay an extra year. But yeah, then I got invited to the NFL Combine. I was the first in school history to do that.
And who you get drafted with?
New England Patriots, sixth round.
So let me ask you this, because you're a Super Bowl winner, right? You get drafted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you say that's like a dream of yours?
So, and I love telling this story. So I had I ain't gonna say no intentions, but I had no thought that I was gonna ever play professional football. Like I said, I'm coming from Division II school that nobody ever known before.
Taking it as you can get it.
Exactly. I'm just playing football and putting it all on tape. So the week of the draft comes. This is like in May. I forget what day specifically, but it was 3 days in a row. So one day I graduated from college. The next day I got drafted, and then the next day after that I was on a flight to New England for our rookie orientation, all that. So everything happened within
Is it really like it is? They say when it comes to the Patriots, is the way the Patriots do it?
Yeah, the Patriot way is real. But I'm also thankful that was my first start, because that's where I learned the true value of hard work and what that meant. So I could see why they won so many championships. And then every team I've been on after that, it was kind of it was cakewalk.
How was it with it? I mean, how was it with it with Tom Brady? Seeing Tom Brady in his how can I say this?
Well, I mean, most people call him the GOAT.
Do you
Now,
feel
so is he? Would you say he's probably the best leader?
Yes.
Out of all,
yes.
okay.
He's the most. I want to say the best leader of men that I ever seen.
is he the Jordan of football?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, he is.
People get mad when I say I like Brady, but I support I like Antonio Brown. People still hate when I say that, but I mean, Antonio Brown, welcome, come to the show anytime. But I think he's a great wide receiver. I think he was good at what he did. Off the field shit, I don't agree with.
That's what got in the way.
That's where the
doesn't allow him to
from.
be in the GOAT conversation. Look
I mean,
how
off the
long
field
Brady's
stuff,
career
I still
is and
fuck
how
with
much he
Antonio
did.
Brown though, because I just think he's what
Yeah,
he did with the Steelers is unbelievable.
He sold himself short. He could
If he
have
played-
definitely been one of the greats.
If he played as long as Brady and he didn't have those interruptions and he consistently did that, yeah, people would probably say he's better than Jerry Rice.
This is why it's so important, because you're a professional football player. I think being on this platform on the Cash Money Dream podcast, and I'm glad you're sitting here right now. We could talk about this.
Right.
Because there's athletes right now, bro, 22, 23, coming into these positions where now they're making millions, right? And some start where they make not really anything because they're building their profile still up, even though they did well in college. I mean, you still got to show up in a professional level, right? And it's a lot of competition, but how do you help these guys stay on the path? Then from the mistakes you made, if it came from choosing the right team or the right agent to spending money or the right woman into a relationship, choosing, because you need all these things correct. The right woman.
So, yeah, and it's interesting because I preach to especially young guys now. I live by this philosophy of borrowed and bought knowledge. So what that means is I want to say throughout my entire life, because I have older brothers, but they've been incarcerated for all of my life.
I know what it feels like, bro.
And my
Real
dad,
talk.
like he was in my life, but by him dealing with my brothers being in jail, I could tell it was a lot getting to him, and he wasn't around like how I don't want to say I think he should be, but remember how I talked about like I didn't know how to catch and play football? Like, I feel like a dad should teach his son how to do stuff like that.
I agree.
By him dealing with the circumstance he was dealing with my brothers, he never really like did that. So I say that to say a lot of what I've experienced in my life is bought knowledge, meaning I had to go through it to experience it to see like, okay, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that, stuff like that. Now you got borrowed knowledge where you can see somebody going through something and be like, okay, I know not to do that because I see what they going through.
Right.
So that's what I mean by borrowed and bought knowledge. So a lot of guys, they get in these positions where they're young, they come into hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, and they don't really have guidance or leadership from like the veterans on the team or people in their lives. Like the John Moran situation.
100%.
Like
that bothered me because I like Memphis. I like him, and I think he does amazing. But it just shows the ignorance of people you chill with. If you chill with people who don't understand the work, and sometimes you're 1% of people who just so talented that you can make these mistakes and still walk away. Because some guys who play on these sports that make a mistake like that, their careers are done.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
You're not in a value. You don't have that. They good, but they ain't that good. You can make a resume onto the team, but you can't. You ain't no superstar. So he has to understand that, bro. You can be a billionaire. You could be the first in your family that turns a billionaire within 10 years if you just follow the rules. But some people will say sellout. You can't, because we come from Chicago. So our environment. Is it okay to have a gun being an athlete? Can you have a gun? Can you have a gun at your house? Can you carry a weapon? Athletes carry weapons.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think people don't understand athletes carry weapons because you're a target.
A lot of them, yeah.
You're a target. You can't you don't some athletes don't have regular lives. They can't ever go outside without being attacked. I was just looking at Messi. I like Messi, soccer player. I was like, damn, this dude, you think LeBron is a superstar? No. Messi's a superstar.
Yeah, soccer is huge.
A lot of
Messi, bro, he can't walk nowhere without security.
And a lot of that creates anxiety. Like, people think they want to be famous and have that level of attention, but just nah. Because you don't know what people's intentions are. And you can walk into the wrong situation with somebody especially now in this clout era of trying to go viral.
All clout.
Like, you gotta be careful.
That's why I tell guys you gotta step away from social media if you're not in a position of power or in a position of knowing what you want with security, because it's very dangerous while you out there when this market, women and all the things, the distraction, the world we going through, it could just knock you off your horse. Yeah. You gotta position yourself where you gotta keep fighting, because even though you think you're comfortable, a comfortability is a death wish. You're not comfortable.
Yeah.
Life is not built. We as men, we gotta keep achieving. We gotta still going to the top of the mountain. Even when you get to the top of the mountain, they'll tell you this: once you reach the top of the mountain, you gotta work to keep it.
Oh yeah.
You could be on top. You could be the Diddy's, the Jay-Z's. You could be the Tom Brady's. You could be the Michael Jordans, the LeBron James, but those guys got to work to keep it. They there, but now you got to keep that status and the critics that come behind it.
Oh yeah, you definitely got to be mentally tough for that type of stuff. So, especially with young guys, I will say that more of them need to be 90 to 90% focused on their purpose.
Yeah,
and,
I agree.
Not put women first.
Is that a struggle for an athlete, women?
Yeah, single athlete, hell yeah.
I mean, all the pussy that's out there.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you, when we was out, bro, how much, listen, bro, when we was out, I used to, the women, bro, the women. I remember one day, I think it's what's the guy who was kneeling? I'm not good with
Kaepernick.
Yeah, one night we was at Marley's and he came in and I remember how many women. This dude big, bro. He tall as hell. I didn't know he was, but how many women went straight at him and he walked in, he walked right out.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't want that
it's
attention.
The anxiety. You don't know what these women intentions are. 80, 90% of them is, they just want to try to come up. So
and as an athlete, it was a player who just signed with he's been with Minnesota. He just signed a big deal for the NBA, and he said something on his Instagram or was it his Twitter? I don't remember, but I think he basically said, "Yeah, I got a bag and I'm not getting into none of you females."
I seen that video. Yeah,
he was basically trying to explain like, "Yeah, I got the bag, but none of y'all." Even his girl who was with him, he was like, "None of y'all."
I think more people should say that. That way, these women won't get the misconception that they can have access to it. So at least he was honest. Like, I got this money, y'all ain't getting none of it.
I think when you say like guys who come into money, it's the women now that managing what's real and what's not, and that's going into that conversation where, can we show a picture real quick?
Yeah,
I want you to see this picture.
Man.
I don't know if you know this athlete. I don't know this athlete very well. I think he plays for the Houston Rockets.
Okay.
But I don't even know the female. I know of her, but I don't know her personally. I know her from like the media. She's an Instagram model. I mean, you see a lot of these girls that are big for looking good, having booties and but do you know who that athlete is?
I don't know who the athlete is.
Do you know who she is?
Yeah, so when I played with the Dallas Cowboys, that was my team. I believe that was his wife or his girlfriend, Orlando Scandrick. That was his girl. Who is she? Drea Michelle. I don't know what she's famous for. I just know I've seen her once.
She's an Instagram model. But she's also famous for, I guess, getting around and dating athletes. But my thing about this question real quick, because I wanted this whole segment to be about football, but I just think we have to talk about
By the way, that's Jalen Green. He's the
dude
NBA.
that got with the video of him getting
in the dorm room, yeah.
Oh, no.
I told Ramin. Ramin said,
I told you about that.
We had a discussion. He was like, "Yo, bro, this dude watch." He's
on the Houston Rockets.
We ain't gonna talk about the humping scene in the playing around. As an athlete, what do you say to an athlete that act like that? Would you pull him because you a veteran?
Yeah,
would you pull a man to the side and say, "Bro, what are you doing?"
You can't do no shit like that. That's just
you getting checked.
Yeah, you ain't doing no shit
in the
like
locker room.
that.
You getting checked.
You should be getting checked by everybody in your circle. Like, you can't let another man.
So when
like
they were all
that.
filming and laughing about it. I don't know how many guys were in there, but they was like, they were having a great time.
They're a little too friendly.
You stupid.
That's wild.
The funny thing is, this is the conversation. So she's 39, 40.
Okay.
Right? I think she's 39 and he's 21. I don't know how old this guy is. I think
I'll look it up right now.
I think he's 21 years old. By her being in her age group and her going down to that, how can I say this, man? Is it right for these young athletes to be sitting there? Because you can't tell an athlete what to do or not.
Right.
You're getting money. He's a multimillionaire. He's probably worth $67 million right now today. And she see him as a bag. Do you not say, okay, she's only dating him? Because if he was 21, 22 and he had no bag, would she still be interested?
Nah, not at her caliber and what she's accustomed to. But I think in this, I don't know what their relationship is, but if they are like with each other, there needs to be some type of an established boundary. Like, okay, we with each other. You're older, I'm younger. It may not. They need to have an understanding about their relationship. They just messing with each other and they don't have a boundary. Like, if she's looking for something out of him that she knows she's not going to get and vice versa, then that creates the problem. So as long as they're not lying to each other and just keeping it 100, then everything will be cool.
Yeah, she is, by the way, she's 38 and he's 21.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to get into this and then we're going to get back into the football. Any woman that's 38, 39, 40, dating a man that's 19, 20, 21, we already know what you after. You after his money. And these guys at 21, 22, 23, 26, 27, you must secure your bag. Do not let any woman bamboozle you out of your money. 70% of athletes go broke after retirement. There's a reason. And most of it has to do with money management and a female behind it.
Big time. So,
you know what I mean? So I don't care what anybody says. You can have more money than me. You could be richer than me. You could have $300 million. I got money. Ramin got money. My man here got money.
Yep.
But it ain't about money. It's about position, not letting somebody take your hard work.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about it is, however he got hurt. So here's what I want to say about men that make money, especially, I'm just talking about athletes. I don't know how, about everybody else's situation, but how you get a woman is pretty much how you're going to keep her. So if you're leading with that, and some of these dudes, athletes, they lead with the money. They flex, they flaunt, they, pull out, and that's going to catch a woman's eye and think like she's going to be entitled to that. So that's why they get women that are after them for their money. So as a man, you got to be really conscious and, screen out the women who are like that versus the ones who...
You got to be like Mayweather.
Yeah.
You got to Mayweather. You think Mayweather letting these women get off on him?
Nah.
I guess it comes down to it's not the same for a man to go date a younger woman who
It's not.
who can build you a family, a legacy, compared to a woman who's 39, 40, and your eggs ran out. You can't give this man a chill.
I did see, I don't know if it was Al Pacino or Robert De Niro.
It was both of them, actually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really?
Robert De Niro,
They both 70,
welcomed
80,
the baby,
making babies.
and a month
I
later,
think it's beautiful.
yeah,
I think it's beautiful.
It is, but
I think when a man has money and position, as long as you're willing to take care of your legacy and your children and make sure the mothers are nurturers in a position like that, you should be able to do that. As men who lead, these guys are powerful. They number one in their industries and what they've done. They have gave back to society. I mean, come on, man. Just alone, how much money they made? Over $200-300 million, and they taxes alone has paid over $60 million to the government. I don't care what they do. Like Elon Musk, you can have as many kids, you can be as married as much as you want if you put the time in and work for it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got a guy like 21 years old and his career is just in front of him, and a 38-year-old is basically being a Houdini playing the game. You're competing with the young women. You're taking the opportunity for these young 25-year-olds to get someone like that. Now, do all young 25-year-old women need to date 25-year-old man or 21-year-old man? No, I think you must date up, because men who 10 years ahead have more opportunity. They can do much more for you. But when you're lucky and get that 1% unicorn that become a professional athlete or entertainer or a comedian or anything, you must take that opportunity to build a family. She's 38. Her career is over towards having children or having legacy. Now, can she still have children?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But the age gap is going to be so different for a man to a woman that he's going to leave her. When she turns 45, he's not going to, I just see a 26-year-old that's much better, much tighter, this woman's been around. So for me, how long do you stick with a woman that actually has a higher body count than you?
Yeah.
And you're an athlete.
Yeah, like I said.
I mean, you can catch up, brother. Trust me, you can get to that 100 body. But shit, it's very difficult to try to maintain something when you're young and you're trying to have these experiences. I just think
with De Niro and Pacino, by the way, they're the children of these, or the mothers of these children that were just born are in their 20s. So
I don't, and this is why I say I think men who go for younger women is a beautiful thing, because it's dealing with women who have less trauma. Women will keep fighting this to the day of end, but I'd rather deal with a woman with less trauma, less issues, less bodies, and who's all about assisting me to my accomplishments to get better and better and better. I don't want to deal with women who've been passed around, who cares about Instagram, who wants to be on social media, who just want to be the next Kim Kardashian. I'm not looking for a woman who's trying to be the superstar in the family. I need a woman who just want to be a woman.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that, because, as an athlete, especially the type of women that I look for, like, I'm not a flashy dude. I don't like to attract women with money. Like, I'm already big and tall. Like, I already, stand out. So I try to look as normal as possible, just so I don't attract those type of
Trust
women.
me, bro. If you walk around with a Gucci suit like me, they gonna be like, "Yo,
I'm good, man. I don't like painting a target on my back." But yeah, it's all about level of understanding between men and women, and then men in high positions. I would say, woman wise, like, I like to date women that are different. Like, I don't like all the enhancements women wear. I don't like the people that they follow, the sexy red Sukianas, like all that stuff. Like, you need to have a different type of motion going on.
I agree. I don't want ratchet.
Yeah,
I want someone. I mean, listen, you can start off ratchet, but if you really ratchet, it won't work. I mean, that's shit for the bedroom. I try to tell these men, like, you got to find a woman that actually is like Vanessa Bryant, like Kobe Bryant wife or LeBron James wife. These women are all about family and taking care of
that's what I think bringing something to the table, quote unquote, means to me as a man, because a lot of these women get that misinterpreted that a man wants them to go 50-50. No, it's like, what different, or what value that's different than any other woman can bring it to my life? Can you bring that, like the peace, the structure, like helping, assisting me towards my goals, not being so internety and all that, like trying to portray this image to social media. Like, we know what we got going on back here. We don't need to display this image with the internet and try to program people to think one way or another. So for women, I like to have something that's different. That's just my opinion. Like, you don't need to be a 7 and an 8 and all that. Like
I just said that. I just had this conversation, like, and we got backlash from it, but we get a lot of support from it. I don't listen. You could be an 8, you could be a 9, you could be a 10. I'd take a 6.
Yeah.
If you got 3 bodies, I'm talking to you. A 6 with money or opportunity, the better I become as a man, the more my kingdom looks beautiful.
And if she got if she got peace, emotion in her life, like I like that. Like, you know, somebody's doing
trust
something
me,
different.
A 6 who's stress free turns to a 7 or an 8.
Absolutely.
A 6 that has no drama or no history or what toxic energy, masculine energy turns into a 7 or 8 very quickly.
Exactly.
You women out here who are really beautiful, trust me, you gorgeous. I see y'all on Instagram with all your kids with no husbands, no boyfriends, nobody showing but the children. You women are miserable. And you can be beautiful, but learn something for the girls who have less than you that's willing to commit more to the man and towards his purpose.
Yeah, and a lot of what I'm saying is, and I kind of had this theory a couple weeks ago, a lot of people, and this men and women alike, a lot of people are dating or entertaining other people that have no type of stability under them, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. Like, a lot of people are dating with no foundation underneath them. And that's what causes the problem in a lot of these relationships. Like, and then on top of that, if you're somebody with stability, like say if you're a man with stability, financially, physically, mentally, all of that, and you allow a woman that has no stability to come into your life, she can mess all of that up. So
would you say, like, for an athlete, it's so important and critical the type of woman you have in your life?
Absolutely.
Right?
We just talked about that off air. Like, the wrong woman can mess all of your status and success up.
So what would you say to these athletes? Like, because you're retired, you're not, but you're training and you're doing so many different things that help people get ready for sports or just in their mind and in their spirit just to be healthy. What would you say to these young guys that's coming into this money and this bag, and they have all these opportunities when it comes to this pussy?
Yeah,
and these women are willing just to fuck their life up. Because these women are evil, bro. Not all women, but some of these women are evil. They're knowing what they're going after. And that's why I keep saying these older women, come on, bro. We see them. They 35, 37. They gorgeous. But they time is done. The wall has came and it hit you. But now they looking at, okay, I can't get these 38-year-old men, these 40-year-old men who are successful don't want me. I got to go with these younger guys that got the bag. What do you say to these young guys when they get themselves in these situations? How do they find the right female? How do they find the right girl? What to look for?
Like I said, her mindset first and the stability. Like, what does she have going on for herself? Does she, can she control her emotions?
Right.
Can she, not to say that her money matters, but does she have motion going on for herself? Can she sustain a life for herself without always having?
Because you're on the road most of the time.
Yeah,
you gone. Can she take care of home while you're not there?
Exactly. Like, really, what is she all about? Because I spoke to this earlier, like, especially with young athletes, when you come into a situation where you have the level of success and money, you need to be focused on, because just because you made it to the NFL, your purpose and your plan is not over.
Right.
You still have, as hard as it is to get to the NFL, it's even harder to stay in the NFL. So until you make as much money as you can out of the business, you're 90 to 93% of your main focus should be on your plan.
Right.
And women, whether you're fucking 21, 35, 60, 70, like we talk about Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, women are always going to be there.
Right.
So, and you only have a limited amount of time to make this amount of money in this span of time. So you need to be focused on your purpose, and then, the women will come from there. But
I just think it's crazy for every athlete who loses his wealth, and they say 70%. It's behind most time as a woman.
Yeah, man. Then
it's just crazy. That bothers me.
I know a couple guys who they came into the league married or with a situation, long time girlfriend, then now they're divorced. It's like, it's crazy to me. It's just
shout out to Chicago, man, with Kanye West too. What's that? What's the song? What's the song he said? The girl he was driving off in a what? Y'all remember the lyrics when he said?
What are you talking about? I know the Homecoming song is about Chicago, but
he said something about the football player. Then he drove off.
Oh, he drove off in a Hyundai.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
He won a Super Bowl and drove off in a Hyundai.
Is it be like that?
I think that's Gold Digger, right? That's Gold Digger. I think that's the name of the song.
So as an athlete, you just tell the man to stay away from the gold diggers. Know who to pick from.
I don't really know how can you decipher good? Because I can tell you from my experience, out of all the women that I've known personally, like I said, I go for different type of women. So I've never been in a situation where I'm dealing with, a hood rat or a gold digger. Like up until like my last relationship, and I can say this on air. Up until my last relationship, that was the first time I ever really spent money on a woman. That's because she was my girl. But if you're just a girl that we kind of got a situation, not just sleeping with, but like we cool, we cordial, we've been friends for a long time. We could do activities with each other. Like I'm not spending money.
I mean, I think, but let's just be honest. When you're an athlete, you come into the NFL, right? Everybody expect money. Everybody expect, okay, he's there now. I can get something from him. Even family members, anybody think you sometimes bigger than what it is because the work still has to be done, right? And females automatically assume when you're a professional, these are things I get special treatment.
Yeah, and that goes back to what I'm saying. You got to deal with women that have motion going on. Like if she has no motion going on, yes, she's gonna look at you like that. But
they call and when you and let me tell you something. I have talked to a couple athletes in my life, and I can tell you right now, a lot of guys, they got money, but they don't feel like a woman deserves that special treatment. And for a woman to still come out and say you gay or you broke, that's just crazy. They say you're gay or you broke because you don't want to follow in their demand in dealing with simps. Because as a football player retired, the world's changed, man. 2023, 2024 coming. Pandemic's changed the world, especially for how athletes operate or even the regular man who works in this regular system that's so against us in trying to get better and build ourselves. I just tell a lot of men when it comes to dating, you just got to be so invested into you first. Find your purpose. Find your purpose. And then the right woman will line up with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why I say you need to be focused on your plan, your purpose first. You only got so much amount of time to get that done before you try to entertain somebody else or have somebody come into your world bringing all their, maybe baggage or energy and stuff like that. So you got to be mentally prepared for situations like that. But yeah, to the young guys, man, just stay focused on your plan, your purpose. Like don't put too much on women and partying.
I agree.
Don't blow the bag as soon as you get in there. Save it, invest it, make the right financial choices, and then everything else will just fall in place.
And just to switch gears, because we're almost at the finish line here. So, how's life after the NFL now for you? What is it that you do now? If you want to go into detail on that.
Yeah, so life out there.
If you want to plug anything on that.
Yeah, so actually, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I'm a ISSA licensed online fitness coach and nutritionist coach. So life after football, but for me, been about, enhancing, mental health, physical health, male health. I'm a big advocate of that. So my platform now, I have an online training app that I train guys on, help them get in shape. Now I'm not, when I say that, I don't mean like, I'm not training them to be athletes, but and I do have athletes that I train, but this is just to enhance overall mental health because there's a direct link with, guys being overweight and obese and mental health declining, testosterone production that has everything to do with it. So life after football for me has been really devoted to male and mental health.
What is that platform? So what is?
Yeah, you said
how
you got
do
an
they find you?
What's the name? Is it in the App Store and on Google?
Yeah, so it's called Trainerize, and my version is called Upscale Trainer. So that's on the Google Play Store. That's on the Apple App Store.
Yeah, we're gonna put these in the description as well, so that anybody who wants to take advantage of this opportunity.
And man, this dude won the Super Bowl. Y'all need to understand. He played with Tom Brady. He's a professional athlete. He played to the highest level of football. He's been out there. I think when you get down and sit down with people on a platform like this, it don't always have to be with a debate where we throwing shots at everybody or against men or women. We can actually sit down and have a real conversation about mental health or getting athletes to a position or anybody to a position of just having a better mindset, a better spirit towards their body. I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, truthfully, you guys are like the superheroes of the world now, getting people back into the world and the happiness and where they want to be.
Yeah, because and I've seen it with my former colleagues, like a lot of guys I'm knowing have been retired or retiring now. Like we all go through this transition of, okay, like what the fuck are we gonna do now? Like we got all this time, no structure. We used to be in a training camp this time. We're used to doing this, that, and the third, and that's where the depression and anxiety comes in.
Is the transition, because before we end this show, I think we need to get on this, is the transition when you come to retirement, what is that mindset like? What is that breakdown to for most athletes? So for yourself, so you can help these young guys or these guys who are about to retire. What is that transaction like? What should they prepare? What should they not
You're
do?
definitely gonna prepare for a lot of. I ain't gonna say a lot of, but depending on the resources you have, that depression, anxiety, that lack of I say fulfillment or purpose, because your purpose was football. You played this over half or even more percentage of your life, and now it's gone. So now you have to shift gears and try to put all your eggs in another basket that you might not even have figured out yet.
Right.
Now, fortunately for me, I was able to figure it out much quicker than a lot of guys. But like I said, I know guys now that have been retired for years, way longer than me, and they still don't know what the hell they're gonna do with their life.
Are they still sitting on that bag though?
That I don't know. Like hopefully, and
because there's some guys. Because I seen some guys who well off.
Yeah.
I mean, they got 100 million. They still talk about the press. They still talk about after playing. There was a guy who played who was a professional racer, and he talking about he made up to $400 million, and his life has changed where he don't know what to do. He got the money, he has the women, but those women are show shadows. He doesn't want that. It's like he would rather just give it all back and start over, and he just can't.
Yeah, like what you talked about. Like man needs to have a plan and a purpose. Like a man that lacks, sitting on the mountaintop. That would be the example. He's sitting on the mountaintop. Like now he has nowhere else left to go. And
he don't trust nobody.
Yeah, so you always got to try to find. As men, I think we need to always stay dangerous. Always need to seek new challenges and harden ourselves to be more compatible with what's going on in this world. I don't believe in complacency. I'm gonna always take the hardest route just because I know what that'll mold me into mentally. So yeah, like I said, have that plan and purpose, and everything gonna be all right after that.
Another question too is playing with Tom Brady. What did it teach you as a football player? What mindset did it give you to see a man like that?
Attention to detail. That's something that I've learned a lot from watching him play. Like the amount of time he puts into his craft is why I see why he's so great. And what's interesting is that mindset that I had to get to the NFL, I just apply it in my business now. So what I've learned and what I've seen is that the people who are on top that make it to that 1%, they all it's all a common denominator. They work hard. They do. I like to go by this saying, I like to be the 1% to do what the 99% aren't willing to do. So you have to be that. You can't go with the crowd. You got to be somebody that stands out, somebody that's different, somebody that's bringing real value and real message so people can relate to you and gravitate, to what you got going on.
Just goes back to you get what you put into it. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out of it. The less you put in, the less you get.
I also say it's shocking to me, and this has nothing to do with you, because I shout out to Tom Brady, and I think Tom Brady's an amazing athlete. I think another thing too is I go into the situation where I see how the transition towards a guy who puts 20, 22, 23 years into football, and then be married to a woman in a position where he was, and for a woman just to walk away from a guy where he's at his top. And I tell women this all the time. Trust me, if you get that unicorn, you must keep him, right? Because if you leave him, eventually the women show up to him, and the guys you're going to get, you're 40, 42, 45, 47, they're not going to be the same guys as equal to the man you have. So you do everything to keep that family together, and it takes sacrifices. But some women just don't care. They think they're special. They have so many options. But in reality, once you see that man start a new family with a 30-year-old, new children, new deals, it comes down to now where you looking at, I look at Kim Kardashian, and she's seeing Kanye married, successful, and she's not seeing him miserable like she is in certain situations. It just makes it more like women need to pay attention to some of these people who are on these platforms, and they're powerful people, and seeing how their relationships don't work. Sometimes it's better to just fight for your marriage or fight for your relationship and for your children. To a man, listen, we are men. If you don't want me, somebody else will.
Yeah,
especially if I'm a high value man.
It's crazy. So that's what we was talking about earlier. A lot of people are operating on delusion and these perceptions that these celebrities and people that are on these platforms put out. It's like people don't realize you don't have all these options that you think you do.
Right.
So I'm not saying to settle for anything, but you need to realize where you're at in life and what you have access to, and not try to oversell a dream that you got in your head. Like you gotta really put the work and the time in to really get what you want out of life and out of people. So
after football, to end this segment, and we definitely gonna bring you back on.
Oh, yeah,
I want to get
dope.
into like the conversation towards the training side. We're gonna do something about that.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think we can use your platform to help a lot of our audience. Like I tell everybody, like and subscribe, follow us on every platform. We here, we not going nowhere. It's your boy Cash, Cash Money Dream Podcast. But my last thing, I guess my last question to you is this. The transition, retirement, finding your niche, is it happiness in the end, or is it more battles with demons?
Wow, that's a 2-part question. So I'm still like I ain't gonna lie.
Are you still finding yourself?
Yeah, I'm definitely because I'm still young. Like, I'm 32 years old, even though that's old in sports years, but I'm still relatively young. So it's always a constant daily battle of trying to root myself in what, beliefs and, whatever I want to be in. But the transition is like I'm still learning myself. It is happiness. Like I would never devote my time and energy to something that I'm not happy doing. Like me doing this because I chose to do it. Like I came from the world of sports where essentially we have a boss. Like everybody, if you play sports, you have a boss.
Right.
So transition to being my own boss, making my own schedule, doing what I want to do, when I do it, when I want to do it, structure my business exactly how I want, and be online. That brings me happiness to see that I can, train a guy over in Pennsylvania and he see results within 2 to 3 months and he's feeling happy, looking good. Yeah, that's what brings me joy to see that I'm changing lives. So that's the legacy I want to leave behind is, who was this person? I don't want to be just an athlete, but who overall was this person and what did he do with his time on earth? Like he helped people, especially men, gain back their physical health, their mental health, the testosterone health. So that brings me happiness helping other people now.
For sure. Listen, we're going to end this show. I'm bringing you back on, man. We're going to have more to talk.
I feel like we just got started.
I know, and that's why it's so beneficial. We're going to get into it again. It's your boy Cash. Like and subscribe, follow us on every platform. Look, I'll just tell them, listen, tell them one more time where they can find you on the training side. And
so you can find me on Instagram. I guess it's Threads now. TikTok at Rushmore90, RUSHMOORE. I will be reactivating my Instagram soon. As far as the training, you can look on the app Trainerize. I believe it's TRAINERIZE at Upscale Trainer. That's my version of the app. I do take consultations. Anybody want to get in shape and change their physical health.
We'll put it all in the description too.
Yeah.
We'll take care of it. It's your boy Cash. Listen, we got a guest coming on every week. Like, subscribe, follow us on every platform. We're not going nowhere, man. It's the Cash Money Dream Podcast. I appreciate you coming out.
Appreciate you, my guy.
I definitely want to try to get you back on within a couple weeks when I get back in town. Let's make something happen. Is it good?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right, man. We out of here, boy. It's your boy. Thank you for watching the Cash Money Dreams Podcast. Like and subscribe. Follow us on every platform. Stay tuned. Every week we drop in a new episode. It's your boy Cash, man.